Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Hook 'em, 4-1. Jon and I are gonna quickly recap. I want to get his thoughts actually on Kansas State this week, and then we're gonna go right into OU prep. Huge week for us, rivalry week, and but quick, you want to do your kind of good, bad, and ugly from Kansas State since we haven't really spoken since then.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? The good definitely is we got to win. That's the most important thing. The offense and defensive lines were great in the game. On this channel, we've been kind of targeting both Omenahu and Hager.
Hager for sure.
And they both played I think they both had 2 sacks.
Charles Omenahu, his best game, most complete game, and getting his stats up too for sure.
Yeah, one had a strip sack, one had a safety. You know, they played great. The bad, I was not very pleased with the game plan in the second half.
Sure.
The special teams, yes, we had a punt return for a touchdown, but if you look at it, actually, other than that, it was very poor. We had a blocked punt.
Missed the field goal.
Yeah, missed the field goal. That granted, it was 52 yards. And
no, it was only a 40. I think it was only 43.
43.
Yeah, it was only 43. But and he's been making those. He's hit a couple 46s. And he has a very strong leg.
Yeah, they weren't terrible misses. No. They weren't just complete shanks. They weren't.
It's more the thing though, like when we're going, because we're bound to get into a shootout, being in the Big 12, and when we play some of the more high-powered offenses, you know, points are at a premium, right? So we want to make sure those things are shored up. And we were really excited at the way he kicked against USC. It's like, okay, that's something we don't necessarily need to worry about. But going back to my season preview, they're freshmen, him and Buchevsky, and you know that was a concern of mine just across the board with special teams. So we're seeing some inconsistencies there right now. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, and that's mainly for the bad. The ugly is self-inflicted wounds, all the penalties, all the yardage. We can't do that against Oklahoma. We can't do that against all the top teams. West Virginia, they will definitely take. They will definitely take advantage of that. And also, I'm going to call out. This is the first time we've called out the defensive back unit. The defensive back unit weren't good. I mean, we were breaking coverage completely on a team that's not known for passing, and it's dangerous going into Oklahoma.
Sure.
I'm glad that it happened on a team that we could beat without that,
because, and a team that couldn't truly exploit.
Yes, because that will gain our focus against a team that will be able to exploit.
Oh, it better. Yeah, it better. And we're gonna go in heavy on Oklahoma because there's a lot to discuss there. But just tying a bow on Kansas State. One of the other things that you had texted me about during the game was you love Ingram, but beyond Ingram, I think you have a bone to pick with the rest of the running back unit.
Well, I mean, Trey Watson offers you a competent running back.
Sure.
Daniel Carson, man.
Or Daniel Young.
Daniel Young. Yeah. Sorry, Daniel Young. He's just been very disappointing to me this season because of the way he ended last season. Last season, he was the #1 running back. He was catching balls out on the
swing routes.
Little swing routes in the bowl game. He was looking like he was going to have a breakout season, and he's not playing up to his potential, and he's not playing up to his size too. I mean, he's the short yardage back, and he's getting blown up. It's to me, it's kind of reminiscent of Chris Warren, because Chris Warren was should have been an unstoppable force in the Big 12.
Sure,
and he didn't get that opportunity.
I don't know if I can go all the way there with you with Daniel Young, because he did close. I think it was the Tulsa game in USC. You know, he did run hard. Now this game, you're right. The 2 carries he got, you know, were both negative plays. But one can argue, hey, like last year he was able to kind of get more touches and get into a rhythm, especially after Tonell Carter had the fumble issues and Kyle Porter was obviously very unproductive. So he kind of, you know, got those touches. Those touches are going to count to Ingram now.
Yeah, and
those touches are going to Watson.
He's making them count too. As you can see, I mean, You would think that
Sure.
towards the end of the game, his size, and he should
be the closer.
He shouldn't be. There was one play that he should have just fallen forward and gotten 3 yards, but instead he tried to cut it out and he lost yardage.
Sure.
He's not that back. He's the
Right.
between the tackles type of back that needs to close the games out for us. I mean, Keontae Ingram is our change of pace back, the one who could make that cut and go for another 15 yards.
Well, Keontae Ingram, he got a question, Tom Herman got a question today, or at the Monday press conference, should he be getting 18 to 20 carries potentially? So
that's scary on a sprained knee too.
Yeah, my only concern with his workload is the knee, because if his knee was A1, he would be in there 80% of the snaps. So, and even when he's in there, if you notice, they'll give him the ball like 2, 3, 4 straight consecutive plays, right? So it's just the knee, and then also conditioning thing. He can only do so much at practice right now, just due to his health, right?
And I agree completely with that.
Right now, it's really going to be him and Trey Watson. Trey Watson was actually in there on short yardage this weekend, last week. So I understand where you're coming from with Daniel Young. I do think, though, that he will have, if something happens to Ingram or Watson, he will have the ability to be called upon and be ready to play. Now, we've talked, I think, enough about Kansas State. It is what it is. We took care of a bad opponent, in my opinion. And, yes, they're well coached, and yes, it was Manhattan, and it was a scary place for us. But we've crossed that off. We've passed that test, and now we move on to a familiar face, to a familiar foe, the Red River Rivalry. And it's an exciting week. It's very exciting for you. I'm really jealous. So, John, tell people what's going on this weekend.
So this is my first time getting to actually experience it live. Even when my brother was playing, I was not able to do it because I was up in New York playing up there. And I get to go with a group of guys out there. I get to experience it. Not only is it a big game, it's a very big game.
Right. First time both teams are ranked in a very long time, mostly Texas as well. But, getting ready, you're also going to College Game Day. That entire experience I'm assuming this is your first time going to,
No,
have you been before?
I went when, I think it was 2008 when they were playing Missouri. I went there. But it was already packed out. So, I've been to the Cotton Bowl. It was when we played LSU. I don't know, what was that, 2003, 2004, something like that. But I've never been during this game, and it's to me, I'm going through a lot of emotions. I'm excited. I'm nervous. A lot of things could potentially actually let us see whether Texas is actually back, quote unquote, or if Oklahoma's distance is just that far away from us.
And it's a great test, guys. Now, one of the things I'm excited about is that this team has been tested already this year. We had the USC test, we had the TCU test. This is a neutral site game, so it's not even like we have to go, on the road or anything like that. Even last week, even though we played a bad team, we started to play them on the road, Big 12 opponent. So these guys are battle tested, as Tom Herman alluded to in his Monday presser, man. But at the same token, us as fans and them as players enjoying the pageantry of the week, enjoying the trash talking and everything that's going to go into it. I wish I could go with you. Unfortunately, I have family coming to town, so I'm going to have to stay back in Austin and watch the game. But I cannot wait to hear your stories, and hopefully I'll be able to see you behind Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, those guys on College Game Day. But with that being said, let's get into our OU prep. Know your enemy well, right? You got to keep the enemy close. And Kyler Murray and Lincoln Riley this game, they come in, they're ranked 5th in the coaches poll. Unbelievable offense as usual. They get timely plays on defense as usual. They have explosive playmakers as usual. So you know what you're going to get. There's nothing that Todd Orlando and Tom Herman haven't seen with this group. The only, and there's a lot of stuff for us to be concerned with.
Kyler Murray's
Kyler Murray's special.
Yeah.
Let me be very, very, very frank with you guys. I watched Kyler Murray play in high school live a lot. One of the things, since I've been in Texas, is watching high school football and seeing the development. Even guys like Gerard Hurd when he was at Denton Guy, or just seeing how dominant some of these players were. You can make an argument, and I don't think I'm out of line in saying this, that Kyler Murray is one of the greatest Texas high school football players of all time. He went 42-0 at Allen High School, won 3 consecutive state championships, and the last two were at the 6, because they created 6A, I think, his junior year.
Yeah.
So the last 2 at the 6A level, and some of the dogs they went against. Like, I watched him go against Miles Garrett when Miles Garrett was still there, right? Like, all these at Arlington Martin High School, and him, just his ability to scramble, his ability to throw on the run, his ability to throw from the pocket. Very, very confident football player, somebody that can throw from a multitude of different platforms. He is a handful to stop. There's a reason why he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Obviously, we all know about the baseball stuff, and he's ultimately going to go that path. But right now, we have a legitimate Heisman contender that we have to deal with. But, at the same token, last year we had to face a record-setting Oklahoma
winner
offense, in Baker Mayfield, and I believe we were the only team last year to hold them below 30 points.
We were.
Even including, I think, even the Georgia game that they played in the playoffs. So just let's kind of go into their personnel and how we're going to match up. So we talked about Kyler Murray, and we'll talk about how we could potentially scheme against him, but Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, he's kind of like the Tyreek Hill of college football right now. He claims he runs a 4.2, and last week he caught a ball on a bubble screen, took one step inside on the Baylor kid. Dude makes the guy miss, which they always do, and he fires up the field for, I think, a 40 or 50 yard touchdown, and he looked like he ran 4.2. So,
and to go off of our strengths, we are actually very good at tackling in space. That's what I've noticed.
Brandon Jones and Caden Stearns.
So they need to be on their A game against Hollywood Brown. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They have
special,
3 guys.
shifty athlete.
They have 3 guys that I've seen because the thing is, we watch a lot of. Again, keep your enemies close. If you're not watching other Big 12 teams on a regular basis, you're not doing your homework as a fan. We watch a lot of Oklahoma, and the one thing we notice is every single one of their receivers run after catch is a big thing. Last week, C.D. Lamb caught a slant and went 70 yards. A.D. Miller I've seen him catch a ball over the middle, stiff arm a guy. Like, we have one guy that I've seen do, like in L.J. Humphrey. They got 3 people that they're on top of the quarterback that might run a 4.3 himself. So at any given time when they're on the football field, Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown are going to be the fastest people on the field. But that doesn't mean we're hopeless, right? Like he said, open field tackling. We're going to have to take proper angles in pursuit and contain. That's one thing. And to give us credit, going against TCU, and I know TCU's, they have speed too, right? And if you notice, even in the tight goal line areas, when they try to string plays outside, guys like Jeffrey McCulloch, Gary Johnson have done a phenomenal job of bending plays back inside and letting help come to make the tackles. We have to keep contained against these guys. And that's something that we did a decent job of even last year. If you look at the Oklahoma tape, we didn't have too many plays bend back outside. Now, where we did have issues, and what I'm concerned about, is missed tackles in the pocket on potential sacks.
Yeah,
because there was a
guy
play.
You can't do that against.
There was a play where Baker Mayfield broke a tackle where he should have been sacked, and he throws a deep post. I think it was Hollywood Brown on Chris Boyd. So these are, again, but Chris Boyd, it's not like you haven't matched up against this dude before. You understand what type of speed you're dealing with. You can't. They're gonna throw double move at you. They know what your weaknesses are, and Todd Orlando knowing what his weaknesses are. He's gonna have to have help over the top, I feel like. So
either that, or they need to switch him over to Lamb, and then have double coverage on him, like they do in the NFL. They usually they usually put their best cover corner on the second best receiver that
And
they
double
have,
the
and then
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they're going to do that or not, because I don't really see that much in college. But
I think they
if he
could
is,
do that if PJ Locke was playing better. I mean, let's just be real. Like, PJ Locke's not playing well right now, but he's a guy that technically they could, kind of take away all the slants and all the underneath stuff, because they throw that stuff a lot. They go off their bubble, they throw their slant, and then eventually they take their shots. So if we're able to kind of shut that stuff down, and he has to hold the football a little bit more, then Orlando's pressure packages get home. And they've had trouble with some of that. John Bonney was even able to cheat and pick one on Baker last year. So there's plays to be had for the defense, and this is going to be the big chess match. The other thing that we have to look at too, there's no Rodney Anderson in this game.
Nope.
Obviously he's out for the season, so we're going to be seeing Trey Sermon as well as Kennedy Brooks, the young guy who kind of had his breakout game last week, and he's pretty fast, but there's not that dynamic. I would really be worried, like if we had to deal with Rodney Anderson
with the receivers.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
Then they have the tight end Grant Calgera. Like, I mean, it's a handful.
That's the person I'm scared of the most, is the tight end.
Because all the attention that gets paid to the wide receivers.
And all he has to do is, that's when we got beat out on a wheel route to the tight end.
Oh yeah,
last
Mark
year.
Andrews. Yeah, late in the game.
We blew coverage on that, and he hit the wheel route, and he was wide open for the touchdown. He's the forgotten man. Understandably, that you have 3 NFL wide receivers on the side. You're going to focus all your attention on them and try to slow them down, but you can't forget about
by
that
the
guy.
way, you have to keep contained and have a spy on
one of the fastest quarterbacks in the nation.
fastest quarterbacks we've probably seen in the last few
Yeah,
years.
I think Kevin Sumlin said that they clocked him in at 21 miles an hour.
So
there
you go.
That's what you have to do.
Your hands are full. Now, if you're Texas, he brought up, hey, maybe we double Hollywood, have Chris Boyd on CeeDee Lamb. You have to be exotic. You have to show Kyler some looks he hasn't seen before. You're gonna have to play cloud at times, and at times you're gonna have to gamble.
Yep.
Flat out, you're gonna have to gamble. And the best way to stop this Oklahoma team is possessing the football on offense. Talk about what our game plan needs to be. Tom Herman, hopefully Tim Beck's back as well. I think he was discharged yesterday.
Yeah, he was discharged yesterday.
So what does their game plan need to do to help out this defense, because they have their hands full this week?
We need to play perfect without shooting yourselves in the foot, because we can move the ball on this
Penalty-wise,
team.
right.
We can move the ball on this team, and they've shown it. Army ran for 340 yards. We're not going to do that against this team.
Yeah.
However,
we don't run.
However, I feel with our offensive line that 150 to 175 is doable, very doable, and we need to control the clock, keep the ball out of their hands, because the longer we keep the ball out of their hands, the better off our defense is, because we're going to be chasing. I think we're going to be playing a lot of man, and then you'll start seeing zone thrown in when we start getting tired through the later quarters and everything. But keeping the ball out of his hands keeps our defensive backs rested, and that's the most important thing. And we have to convert. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And we have to play to our size.
And the more you keep them out, keep the ball out of their hands, as you saw in the Army game, because Army obviously didn't have the personnel to match up against Oklahoma offense, but they were out of rhythm because they were on the sideline so long. If you one of the things that I felt like Baylor made the mistake was they tried to
score with them.
And Baylor threw for 400 something yards, and Charlie Brewer got his, but overall, you're not going to be able to run in a track meet with these guys. Now Texas does have more horses than Baylor, and I think Texas also needs to take a page out of Iowa State's playbook. Iowa State didn't run the ball very effectively against them, but they were very balanced. They executed all their short yardage. They executed in goal line. They were scoring touchdowns, and they threw the ball for over 300 yards, which leads me to Sam Ehlinger. A lot of conversation has been on this channel. We've talked about the missed big plays. Tom Herman outright said it yesterday in the press conference. We can't miss those throws to Devin Duvernay. And I'm glad he said it. Look, I'm not going to pull the wool over people's eyes on what they're seeing. The guy's wide open. Quarterback had time in the pocket. He needs to step up and execute those throws. Now, fortunately, it didn't cost us in the Kansas State game, and he's shown, even in Maryland, he was able to throw a catchable ball. Later in the game to Colin Johnson, throwing catchable footballs when he made that Superman catch even in the TCU game. Mm-hmm. Those are the type of plays we need from Sam Ehlinger. Do I need Sam Ehlinger to outplay Kyler Murray? Absolutely not.
Nope.
But I need him to be solid, continue to take care of the football. Right now, he's over 127 passes without a pick, which is like 5th best in UT history. That's what we need more of that. So all of you come out on the channel trying to compare him to Colt McCoy and Vince Young, let the boy finish his career and actually win some championships before we even have those conversations. But for the sake of this game and what we need from him is move the chains, keep your team in positive second and shorts, third and shorts. When we do have our quick stuff, he's been accurate on the shorter throws, and he's been good at getting the ball out of his hand quicker. So we need to see that continue because Oklahoma has players. Mark Jackson on the defensive line, a guy who at one point I thought was a Texas lean.
Yeah, he was.
When he came out of high school, Caleb Kelly, Kenneth Murray as well. Kenneth Murray's probably their main guy, their captain. The guy had like 25 tackles in the Army game. But they can be had. They're not, even when they had Owaronku and some of those other guys, they don't have the same level of pass rush either. So as you saw with Charlie Brewer and Nolan on Iowa State, they both had ample time to throw and pick apart the Oklahoma secondary. So there's going to be opportunity and meat on the bone for us. But quite frankly, guys are going to have to make plays.
Yep.
Special teams, defense, offense, we need playmakers. Because this is going to be a game where, if like John Bonney made last year, where somebody just comes out of nowhere and gets an interception and turns the tide of the game. The one thing is, in a rivalry game, that stuff comes out of you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like on paper, yeah, Oklahoma's playing at a level right here, and we're not far. We're 4-1 when we're playing over here. But when rivalry game, you throw stuff out the window, man.
Yeah, Oklahoma's putting up big numbers, but they, like you mentioned at the beginning of this, was that they're not battle tested like we are. You may want to say, oh well, we played UCLA.
UCLA's not good. They haven't
won a game. Mm-mm. I mean, that's the only other team I could think of is maybe Iowa State, and they are 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that we played TCU. Yes, we played them after they played Ohio State, but that was the first game of Big 12 conference play, and they are not a bad team.
This is by far Oklahoma's toughest game so far. And then you throw in the rivalry aspect, and this is a big game, big opportunity for Tom Herman. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, he's, Lincoln Riley, one of his peers, everything's gone the right way for Lincoln Riley since he took over. And these two guys are linked. They're often compared, and for him to kind of even up the score, like one of the things I always paid attention to as a young Texas fan growing up was Bob Stoops versus Mack Brown. And one of the things that hurt me so much was like when we used to get they used to get their doors blown off.
Yeah, I think my brother was a part of the 66 to like 3 or something 14
like that. Game. Like the game where we didn't score, it was like 12-0 where Roy Williams did the little Superman thing over the line of scrimmage. Like I grew up and I felt like that was always always knocked Matt down a little bit. And so as a Texas coach, that's an opportunity where Tom Herman can come in and say, you know what, I want to, write my own page of history here in this rivalry, and really try to get on a little bit of a run. Mm-hmm. There's also a big recruiting battle going on. A lot of these players in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's going to be several big-time high school athletes at the game. We were able to really impress with the kids that we had out. We had so many kids out for USC. We had so many kids out for TCU. So just keeping that momentum going, because this staff is brilliant at recruiting, as we've seen. They're now up to, I believe, 7th, even for the 2019 class. So overall, that's only with 18 kids committed. They're doing a fantastic job, and now the product is starting to match up with the level that they're recruiting. But overall, like Texas has a more than a great opportunity to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I know, we went through. The reason why I went through the whole Oklahoma thing is because I have a lot of respect for the speed and the coaching that they have. But I know, looking at Oklahoma State last year, that game made me a full-time believer in Todd Orlando. Because I remember when they came into DKR, they had the number 1 ranked offense in the country. Mason Rudolph was flying sky high. James Washington, who you guys see now on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Justice Hill, all those guys, right? And we held them boys to 10 points in regulation.
Yep.
Through scheme, through proper coaching, and through technique and discipline. And all that stuff gets negated if you play with proper balance, proper technique, and guys are communicating. There's going to be some things that Oklahoma tries to do, but the thing you saw even last year when they played Georgia, when their stuff's not working, they get flustered.
Mm-hmm.
They really do, and that's where you can take advantage of teams, and that's where that battle-tested aspect comes into play. We've been down with USC. We got down early with TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't want to see them get down early in this game.
Not at all.
And they did get off to a better start last week with Kansas State. But overall, just wrap up your thoughts with this game and what things you want to see. Maybe some key players that you think need to have a big game on Saturday.
Well, the one thing I've noticed about this team is it seems like they play to the competition. We did not play, except for the first game, take out the first game,
right.
But didn't play how we should have played against Tulsa. USC comes into town, we smacked them in the face. TCU, we played them, we were ready, and we made them tap. We go to Kansas State. We obviously were the better team in the first half. Obviously, we were just completely dominating, even with us shooting ourselves in the foot. Second half, we kind of let it go. We started playing to down to their competition. So I want to see them, especially since it's an early game. This is our first early game of the year, and it's actually.
We played Maryland at 11 too.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I could have swore we played at 2:30.
Oh
no, it just seemed that way because it was like a 17-hour
rain
game.
delay.
Yeah. Okay. No.
But we lost the Maryland game.
Yeah. So it's still a change of time game.
Sure.
But it's a rivalry game. Come out and play. People I want to see playing well is I want to definitely see the offensive line hold up the way they've been held up all year.
Get physical in the run game.
Yep. Definitely. I want to see Sam Ehlinger continue to grow, continue to make good decisions. And hit his opens, hit his open targets.
As well. Yeah.
Defensive backs. That's one of the
Chris Boyd, PJ Locke. You guys are on notice.
Well, does anyone know if is BJ Foster playing? Because you might not see PJ Locke.
I don't think PJ Foster's gonna play.
You don't think so? Okay, well,
they're being really cautious with the head stuff.
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah,
but. If he is playing,
But look, man, PJ Locke, you've been in what? This is his fourth
year.
This is his fourth Oklahoma game. Like, you were there when that 2015 freshman class team shocked the world, and when we were 1-4 going into that game, and we beat them, and y'all put Charlie Strong up there and
start tossing
everybody,
around.
Tossing around. We had the golden hat, the whole thing. So some of y'all been here. Brecken Hager, you've been here before. Y'all played in that game. Gerard Hurd was the quarterback. The last time we won, and we won that game. We didn't throw. We didn't throw the ball at all. We ran the ball down their throats in a physical manner, and we made them tap out that day. So, this isn't like, the freshmen have been playing well no matter who the opponent is. But the guys that have played in this game on our team, every game has been close. Last year we died with the ball to go win. The year before we died with the ball to go win.
Yep.
So every class on this team has played Oklahoma tight, has played Oklahoma close. And yes, we're talking about these guys who have developed while they're at Oklahoma, but many of y'all were on the same high school team, playing the same districts. Like, this isn't like when they're lining up, they're gonna be talking trash. Like, bro, I know you. It's not. This isn't that's why I led. I was like, this is a familiar face, and sometimes that familiarity, that's where it's like, you know what? It's just man on man today. and may the best man win. So,
and you also don't want to be that senior class that goes 3-1 against your rival. You want to have
or 1-3, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, 1-3, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and I also want to see the coaching staff, the changes they make, the adjustments they make, going against a high power offense. Who's going to come up with that play that's going to...
Tom's going to have some more wrinkles. I like the trick plays he called. The only thing I wish is that on the wide receiver passes, Dry Hurt's the one throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that just gives it up to the defense or not, but those plays are there. Like even the touchdown that LJ threw, or that he didn't throw.
Yeah, he should have.
It should have been a touchdown,
Should've
right?
been a touchdown.
Like, so he's gonna have some stuff in the bag for OU. He kind of smirked when they asked him about it at the press conference when he was like, "They're not trick plays; they're special plays." I don't, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna have something in the bag. Tom Herman is a showman. He wants to compete and he wants to woo these kids that are gonna be on the sideline to come on the football team. He actually talked about recruiting in the press conference. So, Let's go into our predictions for the game. I know we did our predictions for TCU. I'll start off, and I'll let John finish. I'm actually going to pick Texas to win this game, and I know that may come as a shock, as when I talked about how much these playmakers are. I think we're going to find a way to put some points on the board. I think this is going to be a big game for Sam Ehlinger. I expect him to come back and hit on those plays. I expect some big plays to Devin Duvernay. I don't think these guys can guard Colin Johnson and LJ Humphrey, and we talked a lot about their weapons. We got weapons too. Keontae Ingram, our offensive line, I think we're going to play a little keep away, but I also think we're going to put some points on the board. And I think we're going to have 2 big turnovers on defense to secure the victory. As I said, we're battle tested, and I feel like all that adversity is going to help lead us to this point and push us through, because their goal is to make it to the Big 12 championship game and win the Big 12. And if they're able to come through here, it gives them a little bit of margin for the rest of the season and really puts them in the driver's seat to secure one of those spots in the Big 12 championship game.
So I'm kind of like leaning towards wanting to pick Oklahoma, because every time I pick the other team, Texas shocks the world. But I'm actually going to pick Texas as well. And I think it's just I've seen Tom Herman, and he just seems to get his team up for big games. Even going all the way back to him in at Houston and also at Ohio State. And you can't say that he's not prepared for rivalry games, because he's dealt with Michigan, Ohio State,
all these
2 years, and now he's had experience now in the Red River rivalry. And I think Todd Orlando is going to come up with something to throw some game-changing turnovers that they're going to cause, and it's going to be schematic based. And I think that Texas is just the one who's ready to play and coming in at the right time, because things seem to me have been coming too easy for Oklahoma.
It's been building. I feel you, man. It's been building to this. I think our boys can get it done. Y'all let us know in the comments, just your thoughts on the game, your predictions. I know, it kind of sounds 50-50 to me just from what I've seen. A lot of Texas fans all the way back on the wagon. Mm-hmm. Some Texas fans still skeptical.
Yeah.
But just considering the opponent, with it being a rivalry game, you throw everything out the window.
Yeah.
We respect the opponent, but we want to beat them, and we want to, look at it and say, 230 OU still sucks. That's where we're at right now, right? So y'all let us know as always. We appreciate y'all.
See me out there, come say hi.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my man will he'll be out there, ready to go. I'm excited, dude. It's always a pleasure.
Always, man.
We're gonna get it done this weekend.
Yes, sir.
I feel it. Hook 'em.